Zach Lowe has an article up on ESPN.com detailing this is a proposal. We just showed you the Houston Rockets because the Houston Rockets are the latest to propose having free agency before the NBA draft. And this has been kicked around for a while, but the fact that there's an actual proposal from an actual team, do you feel like it now has a little bit more gas?
Yeah, no one has ever actually brought it to an official league meeting that I know of, and the Rockets did that when all the teams met before the lottery in Chicago last month. And it's an idea that I think there are going to be people who are resistant to it just because any big change is going to meet with oh, that's a pain, we got to change how we do stuff, that's weird. But it has some pretty high-profile general managers who are not named in the story because they don't want to be, who are supporting it, and they're the kind of guys who when they get behind something, then it matters,
right,
and it has momentum.
What do you think of this?
I love that because you got to think from my time in free agency, the biggest names always go first. So they're going to put the calls out and the feelers out to the smaller guys. But let's say, per se, if you're in the LeBron sweepstakes, you land LeBron. You want to get shooters and guys that fit around him. So now you can put your team in order instead of just taking the best available. You know what you have going into the season and into the draft. You get by need rather than just by the best talent.
That's the thing. I mean, I just think that I have always been a big fan of this. Every time I've heard this kicked around, I was thrilled to read your story.
I didn't know you were so pro. You got to get into league meetings. You can go in there and make
I
a
actually
pitch.
almost made it a monologue the week before the draft, and then we had some sort of yet another Kawhi breaking news story that day. So we ended up.
Can't have one day.
I know there's not one day, which is a good thing in this league. But yes, I have always been behind this for a couple reasons. I think you want to put the most number of teams in the best position to succeed, right? So if you can get more teams who have good basketball teams they're fielding, that's better for fans, it's better for the competitiveness of the league. And I don't think there's any question this would put more teams in a position to succeed because you know what you're getting in the draft. You know what your draft pick is. You might not know exactly if you're, Michael Porter Jr. falls. You might not be able to do that kind of wild card. But in general, you know what number pick you have. You know generally the talent that's going to be available to you. This is also scouted out. The big unknown is free agency. You have multiple teams who have multiple free agency plans. Only some of them are going to work. So if those teams can see how those free agency plans play out, and then draft to fill need, as you know, Ryan, then they're actually getting better teams.
So you got to think of what teams actually do in the draft. Either I'm going to go and get potential, a guy who's going to be ready 3 and 4 years down the line, or I'm going to get a ready-made player, a 4-year college guy or a guy from overseas that's tough, that's a little older, that can play minutes now. So if I'm a team, I know what to get. That helps me be even better, and I'm not getting a project,
And whether to trade down or not, right? If you've already taken your big free agency swing and it didn't work, maybe you don't make this the year you make some big splashy pick, but you trade down in a way that will set you up for the next season.
Well, to me, we're talking about what if you get LeBron and how that would change.
Yeah.
To me, the team that this would benefit most is the teams that don't end up getting LeBron but have kept their cap space open like a hoarder for 3 weeks and passed up all these opportunities that they might have had at the draft when everybody wants to trade. And then they don't get LeBron. They're like, oh, I guess we got to go sign Amari Stoudemire, Carlos. Who's available? Who can we give our money to?
Yes.
And those are the mistakes that kill you because they're $100 million mistakes. They're not little mistakes.
Absolutely. And by the way, this would also, if we flip these, mean that free agency is no longer centered around July 4th. Which I do think that it's I know that the free agency is crazy and it lasts 3 weeks and the league makes a lot of money over all the interest in it. But I do think getting it off a holiday, when Kevin Durant picked the Warriors, he picked it on July 4th. There's a lot of people
Hayward, too.
who,
Gordon Hayward, July 4th, 2 years in a row.
Depending on
Well,
when
think
you
about
think
this.
Gordon Hayward actually picked.
How would it affect Summer League? Because there is a level of getting your young guys in, getting them ready for Summer League. So now do you push everything a little sooner?
That is sort of why there's been opposition to this. Any change in the league calendar has a bunch of ripple effects.
Yes.
And of course, if the draft is later, which is what would happen here, Summer League would have to be later. That shifts other things on the calendar. So you're right. Any change is sort of glacial, and there's always people who don't like change because they don't like change.
I don't think this is going to happen. I would bet against this happening in the next 10 or 15 years. Because I do. But
Thanks a lot, Zach.
It's an interesting idea, and I like that it's in the ether now.
Oh, well, fine. There. Now we might as well move on.